My name is Julianne Duffy. My purpose is to live, speak, and seek the truth in all forms, to help reconnect humanity to the highest form of authenticity. And I thank you so much for joining me. And let me see if I can get this here centered. Perfect. So I got my cards. Today I'm going to pull from the Rose Oracles by Rebecca Campbell. Great set of cards. And what I thought I would do is pick a topic that's come up recently and pull some cards to see how that is for 2024. So I recently came across some information and a video from Chris Sky. Now, if you're in Canada, you may or may not know who he is. You may have a positive, negative opinion. The point of this video, however, was that he's in Mexico and the Mexicans don't want American currency. So they're asking for pesos. They're asking for their currency. I have not been to Mexico in the last 4 years. I haven't been there since early 2019 because I was not allowed to travel. So up until May of this year, we still had stipulations where because I didn't have the appropriate documents, I was not allowed to travel. So I have not been back to Mexico since February of 2019. And I always thought it was very strange because we'd always be asked more for US dollars than for the pesos. And I would always get pesos because we get a better exchange rate, right? Anyways, so he's stating that they don't want the US dollars. They're specifically asking for pesos. And I find that interesting. So we're going to dig into that. And on top of that, it overlaps with what happened a few weeks ago, which was the UAE announced that they were no longer taking the US dollar for settlement of oil, which is a big deal because US dollar has been the world's currency, right? Settlement currency. So let's pull a card about this video from Chris Sky and find out what is the message for us. Is this truthful? Is this not? There's things we should be aware of. What do the guides say about Mexicans now just wanting the Mexican dollar? And this video that Chris Sky put out. Let's see. So I'm pulling them live here. So the first one, the second bloom. Ooh, let's see if I can get this to zoom in. Maybe it'll get this working. A second chance, it's never too late. New possibilities. Okay, so this one's really about new possibilities. That seems very much like we're coming into a second thing, a second bloom. Clearly, we're number 2, so that old way of being is kind of dissipating. A second chance, it's never too late, new possibilities. So I feel like this is now the time where we're seeing the signs for the new possibilities, most likely towards the currency systems. So I feel like that's definitely confirming that there's new possibilities with that, the second bloom. But let me see what the book says, if I'm missing anything with this, because I would hate to leave out something super important that was up with this. The second bloom, don't mind me, I just gotta find it here. So it's about second chances, new beginnings, regeneration, reinventing yourself, and it's never too late to surrender to what's blooming within you. All that matters is you surrender to the buds that are longing to grow. So the more open we are to the change, the more open we are to life. The more open we are to life, the more open we are to being born again anew. Yes, that is what it means to truly live, being open to say yes to life so that when you eventually take the last breath, you do so while still living. So just as we think the season's over and winter's drawing near, some roses bless us with their unexpected second bloom. So that's what the idea of this card is. And that if this card appears in the spread, it's a sign that you too are set for a second bloom. So so new things are coming. So I feel like this is definitely pointing towards that he's confirming there's a second bloom, it's a second chance, there's new possibilities. Let's see if we can get a second card just to kind of confirm that as we go here. The thorn, protection, boundaries, clear communication. So we are being protected. So as we're going through the second bloom, no matter what is happening, the guides are telling us not to worry too much. We are being protected. And as long as we're clearly communicating and making sure we understand what's happening. Now, I don't know if there's necessarily clear communication right now with what is happening, but I feel like that's showing that we are going to get more communication overall. So the rose is not all gentle. and soft. In fact, most roses are armored with spiky thorns and prickles, and these protectors are the knights defending their queen. So they're setting their boundaries and conditions to do what she was born to do. And we are like the rose. So we don't get taught how to make important, clear communication and loving boundaries in our relationships. And we haven't been able to set a clear boundary with this financial system, is what I feel like that's what it's saying. Communicating our needs and establishing our boundaries, it allows us to feel safe, but also those that we're in relationships with too. And right now I feel like the boundaries are definitely being broken with what has been happening, which might overlap a little bit with what else I've seen today, which was about the GDP of countries and how Canada used to be number 13, and now we're not even in the top 20. We have jumped back so far, more than 100% back, because we were number 13. If you did 13 back, that'd be 26. I don't know. I don't even know if we're in the 20s, so I might be exaggerating, but I feel like that is part of this, is that there hasn't been the clear communication with it. But a second chance is coming, and there hasn't been a clear communication with it. There has been some things I think hidden with it, really, but we are being protected. And the final part of this message, just kind of thinking about this, what's happening with the currency and why they're not taking the US dollar. The grandmothers, remember your youths. Perspective, trust the weavings. Had this many times, trusting the divine guides are the grandmothers, the ancients before us that have come, that we might not be the first to go through this type of experience. We are probably repeating a very similar experience to other societies. Even in our more recent history, it does overlap with some financial things that we've seen prior in the last couple of 100 years. But this one is, they're calling for you to play a part in this time of healing. So getting to know this information is part of that. To heal and integrate what you've inherited in your ancestral line, it's not personal. These are changing, healing times that we came here for, to reconnect and reach all the way back to the original mother and see our role as the ancestors of those that are yet to come. To remain grounded and rooted in your life, so no matter how rocky the things are going to get, we know we can come home and that we're connected to the divine. Every time I pull a message, everything comes back to trusting that we're connected to the divine. We're opening information from our grandparents and the ancients to remember it. And with this situation specifically, we're coming into a second chance. There's a second bloom. There is a second thing happening. There is a change going with it, so that there's new possibilities. I feel like there's going to be new currency possibilities. It's going to be a very changing, extreme time that probably we've never seen in before. And through that, there's some thorns. We're going to feel protective. It's not all going to be pleasant, but we're going to be putting our boundaries down. We're going to be protected. So the divine's going to protect us through this process. And we put down our boundaries to what is happening and, try to get the clarity for it. And that we are going to change our perspective. We're going to trust the weavings. The divine has got our backs. The people before us have our backs. There has been things established, I feel, that are going to assist us as we go forward. So I feel like that whole message was that video is truthful, that is actually what is happening, and that our guidance is that we are coming through this massive change. It's might be prickly. There's going to be boundaries, communications, things as we go through it that are in the end, when we trust, are going to be okay, but might not feel so great because it's going to be our perspective, right? And that's what we remember here. Our roots, our perspective, trusting the divine, and the ancients are here behind us, our divine guides. So hope you enjoyed this little live event, and I will check in again soon. Have a beautiful day. And I just say prepare for things that you don't ever think are possible. And it'll be easier. And make sure you do have your connection, because when you know that the divine is behind you and got your back, it's so much easier to go forward through the chaos. Namaste.